Hello and welcome to the Aluminum Screen Podcast. This is episode 57, and once again, I'm solo this week. Emmett is out in Las Vegas for CinemaCon, so also won't be covering too much of that news. We've only really had Sony's presentation so far, but we'll get into that stuff next week when Emmett's back. So we won't be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day or Beyond the Spider-Verse, because it's better to have him here to fully explain that instead of just me being like, well, here's what I read. So you can just here's what he saw. So we've got some Euphoria Season 3 chat today. It's a very light one. This is going to be a quick episode, to be honest. Euphoria Season 3. I haven't really watched that much. I think the only movie I watched this week was Pizza Movie, so I'm watching only good stuff. I mean, Pizza Movie's all right. It wasn't as great. I don't know. I think Emmett was right. I think seeing it in a theater definitely, swayed the opinion on that. Caleb Heron is great, though. Everything he's in, he's great. I guess before I jump into any news, I'll do some catch up on what I've been up to the last week. Like I said, nothing as far as watching stuff goes, but I did pick up some more VHS tapes this week. I got 4 Star Trek tapes. So I had the second one, so now I have Star Trek 1, Star Trek the movie, Star Trek 2, 3, not 4. I got 5 and 6. So I still have to get 4. I think what happened was the Roman numerals confused me in the store because it was way busier than I was expecting it to be. A lot of commotion. And I just saw V and I, and I didn't look at where the I was in relation to the V. So, yeah. So I'm missing 4. So I'm not able to watch through all of them yet, but I can start, and then I've got 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I guess, because I'm thinking about doing Star Trek Saturdays and popping one of the VHS tapes in once a week. I don't know if that'll continue to the J.J. Abrams stuff. Depends on if I like him or not. Also, I got Star Wars. I got Phantom Menace and Empire Strikes Back on VHS. So I think a big sci-fi person donated some tapes or something recently. So I got super lucky. Also got Independence Day and National Lampoon's Animal House. So looking forward to firing up some more VHS tapes. I don't know why I keep saying firing them up. You don't really fire them up. You just kind of put them in. It does feel like firing up the TV, though, when you turn that on. I'll tell you that. Makes quite a noise. But yeah, like I said, not really going over a lot. I mean, I might touch on some things that came out from CinemaCon, but I'm not going deep on here's what was at Sony's presentation. Here's what was at. That's not going to happen. The only thing I know, Emmett texted me that he thinks Jeremy Strong is going to win the Oscar for playing Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Reckoning. Now, I got excited by that, but I also remember last year he said Brendan Fraser was going to win the Oscar. So, we got to wait and see if it's true. But I would love that. I mean, Jeremy Strong was nominated for The Apprentice 2 years ago now. So, the Academy likes him clearly. But that's my guy. That's my boy, Kendall Roy. So, okay. I won't waste too much more of your time. Let's jump into the news, shall we? This is kind of related to CinemaCon. Netflix is discussing with the leaders of a bunch of theater chains the possibility of putting more Netflix movies in theaters. This is a good thing. I've been saying it. It makes no sense that they're so anti-theater. And when they were buying Warner Brothers, that was the hope, was that it would lead them to put more movies in theaters. And Sarandos did say, whoa, I don't know if that came in the recording. I think it did. If that came through, I apologize. I got a very loud chime in my ear. So, enjoy that. That's what you don't get when Emmett's here. So, But yeah, Ted Sarandos has said that going through the process of trying to buy Warner Brothers, they did want to get more involved theatrically. So hopefully this is them actually following through on that. I mean, and it just makes sense from a business perspective too, to make like millions of dollars on a big movie. Like imagine how much money they would have made if K-pop Demon Hunters was theatrically released first. Now maybe it wouldn't have been as big of a hit, sure, but like you make millions of dollars at the box office and then it still is on Netflix and then people pay to subscribe to Netflix when it's on Netflix. I don't it just seems like it makes too much sense. I don't think that they're doing this cuz they're like, "Oh, I love theater so much." Well, not theater. Movie theaters. I want to get a Timothy Chalamet situation there. Yeah, I mean that's good. Also, speaking of Netflix, this is big news for me. I don't know. I don't think this is big news for Emmett, so it's a good thing he's not here this week. A new In-Betweeners movie is apparently in the works at Netflix. This is a British sitcom. I loved this in high school. I love that show. I haven't seen actually any of the In-Betweeners movies, so I'll have to get in the lab on that one. Maybe next week I can come in with an In-Betweeners report. Um, yeah, that's interesting, I guess. I don't know how good it would be, a Netflix In-Betweeners movie, but hey, if they want to play the nostalgia, play the hits, play hits that I know. That's kind of, I guess, my thing on that. Nostalgia is bad. When they're doing nostalgia bait, it's bad unless it's for a thing I like. Then it's okay. So that's it. Well, speaking of nostalgia bait, I don't know if this is fully nostalgia bait because it is based off of a new book, but the first trailer for the new Hunger Games movie is out. Looks awesome. I forgot how stacked the cast was till I was watching it, and I was like, oh, right, Kieran Culkin's in this. Oh, right, Jesse Plemons is in this. Oh, yeah, Ray Fiennes is playing Snow. Obviously, Elle Fanning as Effie Trinket, a young Effie Trinket. That's going to be a show soon on ABC or something. Young Effie, because I did see Young Sherlock got renewed for season 2. So shout out to all the young Sherlock heads out there. That's the new TV meta. Just take a character people like, make them young, and just call it young character name. I mean, they did it with young Alfred Pennyworth, but they didn't call it the right thing. That's why it wasn't as big of a show as it should have been. Yeah, the trailer for Hunger Games looked shockingly fun. Honestly, I wasn't. It was very bright. It opens up and they're in the arena. It gives you these midsummer vibes. It's just like bright and colorful. But yeah, I liked how colorful and bright it was. I'm much like a Cocomelon baby in that way, where if you give me bright lights, I'll be like, ooh, okay. But it looks fun. I haven't read the book, but I heard that it was pretty good. So I'm excited to see it. I still have not seen the Rachel Zegler Hunger Games movie, Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. Also, I don't think I've ever seen Mockingjay Part 2. Seen Mockingjay Part 1, never 2. So I'll have to get on that by November, I believe, when the movie comes out. We also have super exciting news. Paddington 4 announced, plus an animated Paddington movie, which I don't know if they said what type of animation they're going to be using. I hope that they do like claymation, like Wallace and Gromit style. Like claymation for Paddington would be incredible. Let's make it happen. I don't know who I need to talk to make it happen, but I'll talk to him, I guess. I won't. Also, Saoirse Ronan and Timothy Chalamet are going to be potentially linking up. Saoirse Ronan being eyed for a part in Wonka 2. Now, I can't believe that that's a real thing. That's insane. Wonka made a decent amount of money. Wonka getting a sequel is so funny. It also is really funny that Paul King left Paddington. Drop something. Paul King left Paddington instead of making Paddington 3, which is Paddington in Peru, which is not that bad. he left Paddington and then made Wonka, and now he's gonna make Wonka 2. Maybe they don't get Wonka. Maybe he doesn't come back for Wonka 2. It is funny though. He's like, I'm gonna make a different kids movie. Actually, this one's not doing it for me. Insane. But I'm excited for Paddington 4 and Wonka 2. I will be seated for both of them, unfortunately. We also have some news. So we haven't had an episode since the best episode of Daredevil Born Again came out, either season 1 or 2. It was a heavily featured Bullseye going around killing people in a diner, and we got to see his morning routine, which was great. I can't wait to copy it. I can't wait for that YouTube video where someone's like, I tried doing Bullseye's morning routine every day for a week or a month or whatever. Here's what I learned. They probably wouldn't do the killing a diner full of people. Maybe. If they were really committed, they would. But, you get to see him just going through his day, and then the phone call to 911. It's awesome. He's just so flat. He's like, oh, Punisher's here. Oh, no, he has a gun. And then he goes absolutely nuts on a bunch of anti-vigilante task force. We get Vanessa potentially dying. I think she's dead. I mean, a chunk of glass to the head and bleeding everywhere. Spoilers for the episode, by the way. If you haven't seen it, I'm lying. That's not true. It doesn't happen. Yeah, so now we're going to see Fisk, like the title of episode 4, really go gloves off now. So I'm excited for that. And we did get a spoiler for how it's going to lead, how all this is leading up to season 3. We have a bit of a spoiler for what's going to be happening. Now, if you listen to the episode, I think last week, or maybe the week before, where Emmett and I talked about Daredevil, Emmett made a prediction. He's like, I think it's all leading up to Daredevil, Matt Murdock getting arrested, and they're going to adapt the comic storyline, A Devil in Cell Block D. It seems to be the case. I was picking that up if you're watching the video, and I just appeared back in frame to say that. I wasn't doing that for dramatic effect. I was just letting you know. It seems that is going to be the case because Mike Coulter has been sharing some posts. Obviously, he played Luke Cage. He's back. Finn. Let me pull up his name here. But they also have Iron Fist back, played by Finn Jones. He is back for season 3, so we're getting the Defenders back together because obviously Kristen Ritter has been all over the marketing for season 2. Hasn't appeared yet. Maybe she'll appear tonight. We'll see. But we got the Defenders back, and Mike Coulter has been posting pictures of them all together on set. And he posted a picture of him with Charlie Cox and some other people in the background. They're not important. What's important is Charlie Cox is in the picture, and what's even more important than Charlie Cox being in the picture is what he's wearing. He's wearing an orange jumpsuit. That post was quickly deleted. I'm sure he got a phone call from Kevin Feige. I just would love to be like a fly on the wall to hear that phone call. Just imagine being a third party in there, just not saying anything, just hearing what's going on. He posted what? Ooh. So, big spoiler potentially there, which is unfortunate because he's just excited and being like, oh, I'm back with all my friends again. We're making this new season of the show. This is so awesome. I love it. Woo. And then, he gets shot by Kevin Feige's sniper rifle for leaking something. Yeah, that's pretty exciting though. I'm sure if you've seen the Defenders, I'm sure it's even more exciting. Like I said, the episode last week was very Bullseye heavy. I hope we keep Bullseye as a focus. I'm sure we're going to focus more on Fisk tonight probably and his reaction to Vanessa dying. I was happy the whole time. I was like, thank God, man. And the fact that Fisk is kind of responsible for it by breaking up that glass thing and it's still going into the side of her head. Awesome. So I'm excited to see where it goes. They've really picked it up. I wasn't totally sure after the first episode. I was like, all right, I didn't love it, but I'll stick with it. And then 2 and 3, I was like, okay, it's ramping up a bit here, pretty good. And then episode 4 was incredible. So I'm very excited for episode 5 tonight. I think it's only one episode again. Um, but yeah, I'm all in. The more bullseye, the better. So we'll see. It has been true though this season. I said it mostly as a joke beginning of the season that the more bullseye, the better the episode is. But that is true. So, and I don't think that it's like, I think there's a direct correlation there. When you put the best character in the show in more of the show, it's better. Speaking of a character not in the show though, Punisher, he's mentioned in the episode though. Punisher, we get the first trailer for the Punisher One Last Kill. Looks interesting. I mean, it's Punisher, so you kind of know what you're getting. He's fighting guys, he's yelling, he's cursing, he's shooting guns, he's killing guys, he's going insane. Looks like fun. I can't wait. I don't really have that much to say. I'm sure Emmett will have way more to say about that. Also, we have some breaking news here. Just before I hit record on this, it's been announced that Adria Arjona has been cast in the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. The role is not yet known, but she was rumored to be playing. Now, let me get this right here. Rumored to be Maxima. That was the rumor going around last week, and then James Gunn said that's not true. There was a list of names. Adria Arjona. There's a first list with like Ella Purnell and Adria Arjona and some other people, and then a second list that went around with Sydney Chandler, Adria Arjona, all for the role of Maxima. But then James Gunn was like, "No, that's not true. Actually, like that's not true." So it's unknown the role that she's gonna be playing. She's been a very popular Wonder Woman fan cast, which is not great news for me. I've been really driving the Courtney Eaton fan bus. But, if you're a true believer, I'd say don't give up hope yet. It's not over yet. It very well could be. Could be her soon. We'll see. It might not be. It's not looking great after this news, but we'll see. I'm not really sure. Okay. Flew through the news actually way quicker than I was anticipating. Like I said, there's not really much going on this week. Feels like a lot of the news was just being held till CinemaCon. So not talking about most of the CinemaCon news, really shrinking it down. So this would be a nice little quick tidbit. This might not even be a canon episode. We'll see. Who knows? So I guess let's move right on to Euphoria Season 3. This might be a half-hour episode of aluminum screen. Big news. Yeah, so Euphoria Season 3 is out. Well, not the whole thing. The first episode came out Sunday night. I watched it yesterday, and we're about maybe 8 minutes in, and I'm like, what are we doing here? When I'm watching Rue seesaw over the border in a car, I'm like, what are we doing here? Why? What is this? This is ridiculous. Immediately, I'm like, how did they get them back for this? This is nuts. Like Coleman Domingo, Oscar nominated. Zendaya, she's in like a bunch of stuff. She's in The Odyssey, Spider-Man. She's in Dune. She's got so much going on. How did they get her back for this? Jake Elordi's Oscar nominated. Like, how did they get all of these people back? Maud Apatow's like directing stuff now. Like it's it's crazy, and they got them all back somehow. Now, it was insane. So I did write down a little bit of the plot here. So if you are a Euphoria abstainer, still listening for this. So now we start off with the revelation that Rue is now a drug mule for Lori, who is the lady who gave her the bag of drugs last season that her mom flushed down the toilet. A lot of this was not still in my brain and had to be relearned over the hour the show was on. So Rue now is smuggling drugs across the border for Lori, and she like meets a religious like traditional family near the border in Texas, which then makes her be like, oh, they're religious and they seem much happier than I am. Maybe I should be religious. So that's a plot point now for the season going forward. And we really stick on Rue for a long time. Makes sense. Zendaya, the main character of the show, whatever. Then we cut to we do catch up on them. We get a lot of Rue voiceover. It's been 5 years since the last season, so now we get to see what they're all doing. So here's what they're all up to. Nate and Cassie are about to get married. Nate has taken over his dad's job. Cassie is doing some bullshit on the internet. This was like the hardest it's ever been to watch a TV show, I think, for me. Like every scene with Jacob Elordi and Sydney Sweeney was so incredibly tough to sit through. It made me want to turn it off. Like if I was watching by myself, I probably would have turned it off. But I was watching with my girlfriend, so I couldn't just turn it off because she's watching it too. So I stuck it out. So she's like dressed as a dog, and their like housekeeper is filming it, and she's posting it on Instagram. She's like, I'm trying to get famous by posting content. It was just like really annoying to listen to. Just horrible. Jacob Elordi feels like he doesn't want to be there. It's ridiculous. And then, so that's going on. She's doing that. And then, later on in the episode, she's like, actually, I'm thinking about doing OnlyFans. Because you can make a lot of money doing that. And I want $50,000 floral arrangements for the wedding. That's absurd. Absurd. So we'll see. We also got her sister Lexi Howard working in Hollywood, single now, because Fezco is in prison for 30 years, which that's like one of the craziest ways a show has dealt with the character dying, like the actor of a character dying in real life. Just like he's in prison for 30 years as like kind of like a throwaway line. I don't know. It feels like he could have, I don't know, had something maybe, but whatever. Sam Levinson didn't feel like it. It's just crazy. So she's working in Hollywood as like an assistant to someone who's like working on TV shows and whatnot. I think it was like late night soaps, I think it was what they said. Which that also was very irritating to sit through. The scene where they're in the like meeting room talking about an episode and they're all like, it's like, it feels like how a Republican would imagine Hollywood writing rooms to look like. Like it's like all women with like dyed hair and like the like thick hipster glasses and stuff, like being like, oh, my anxiety, blah blah blah. Like it's just like buzzword city central. And I was like, okay, we get it, man. You think Hollywood's too woke. They're too woke. They can't handle your show about that. This also just felt like watching Sam Levinson's fetish for an hour. I mean, the scene of Rue and her friend Faye, played by Chloe Cherry, like Faye was in last season. I do not remember Rue and Faye being like close friends or close enough to be like, I'm going to invite my friend to smuggle drugs over the border. Whatever. It was like an end game moment, I think, where it was like, oh, I had my friend come help me out with this. And it's like, oh, that's the character from the show. Whatever. So it's Zendaya and Chloe Cherry just gagging repeatedly, like forcing their fingers down their mouth and gagging. And it's like, oh, they're putting balloons in there. Okay. First of all, gross. Like, I don't need to see them gagging that much. That's crazy. And then they get there, and Rue is getting carried, and she's like, oh, I'm about to shit out these balloons full of fentanyl. And then Chloe Cherry's character Faye comes on screen and has shit her pants. Just nasty. And then there's a dog that comes up and licks it. I'm like, what is going on? Why is this what we're doing? Why did we wait so long to do this? This is crazy. Yeah, also we find out Maddie's also working in Hollywood. She's like a manager for like I think they said influencers and actors. Okay. Not really sure what that's about. Also, it's mentioned that Jules is now a sugar baby. We don't see Jules in this episode, which is odd. That's another thing. There's so many. Obviously, Hunter Schafer is in this season, and we'll see her character later. But there's so many people that didn't come back from season 2. That's also why I'm like, how did they get all of the How did they get all of these the bigger actors back for the show? Is crazy. Like Austin Abrams isn't back. He was like a highlight in season 2. Obviously, they just stopped caring about McKay in season 1, so didn't think he was going to be back. Barbie Ferreira isn't back. Like Rue's family, I don't think is back. Like I don't think Storm Reed is in this season. It's like okay, her sister fried because she's doing cocaine and that's it. Okay, she just left. Yeah, but we do get so like it just feels odd that those people aren't back, but then other people do come back for it. I don't really get it. I mean I understand why, but it just feels silly. Because now it's like okay, so now you have to introduce all these new characters to make up for all the characters leaving the show, and they do introduce some new characters. Marshawn Lynch is here, having a great time in the pool. It felt like he was not acting. It felt like he just was hanging out, and they just recorded a little bit of it. When he was in the pool, at least. And then we get introduced to a character named Alamo. All right, I'm gonna split this up here into some pros and cons here for the rest of this Euphoria chat. Some of the pros, I did like the character of Alamo. I thought it just was ridiculous and silly. Like he's wearing just like tidy whities with like a trench coat and a cowboy hat on and boots. Shout out to the Foley team because when he's walking in the boots later, it sounds incredible. It's really good. That was probably the highlight of the episode was the Foley work on the boots. um, yeah, so I liked his look. I also liked his right hand man named Bishop. I found that out from IMDb. I don't know if they ever call him Bishop. I think they call him B. Unless I missed it, which is possible. Yeah, just he's got a weird vibe to him. Very odd guy, but I was into it. Let's see. Oh yeah, just the end of the thing. Rue tries to bring the drugs to Alamo. And then she wants to run or work for him instead of running drugs for Lori. Like I hate working for Lori. Also, I believe in God now. Once someone overdoses on some fentanyl laced pills, they're like, "Oh, you're setting us up." And then she starts going on about how she believes in God and stuff. She wants, all this stuff. And Alamo says, "Well, you believe in God. Let's see if he believes in you." And then put an apple on her head, and he takes a couple steps back and shoots the apple right at the end of the episode. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. She's probably going to have to work for both and double cross them. Can't wait. I don't know. But yeah, so the positive for me, pros on the episode was I enjoyed Alamo. Seemed interesting. Awesome voice on that guy, by the way. The actor is, all right, I might get this wrong. I'm going to try my best here. Adewale Akinoye Egbaji. Sorry if I butchered that. His voice is awesome. Big fan of that. Also was shocked to find out he's British. So double points for that. Because I had no idea. And I feel like usually you can tell. Well, maybe not always, but like watching Fallout and Ella Purnell is talking, I'm like, this is a British lady. I know this. Yeah. So Pro, Alamo, Bishop. I enjoy those two new characters. Also, Colman Domingo and Zendaya having a scene together. That's always going to be a pro for me. They're both so good. Shout out to maybe highlight of the episode is Colman Domingo's character just saying, talking about butt sex. Okay, sure, why not? Also, they filmed this whole season on VistaVision. Maybe not the whole season, actually. I think they did. They shot in VistaVision. It looked really good. The landscape shots of Mexico and everything looked very good. Euphoria is never the negatives of Euphoria was never the visuals of it. It's always been a very visually pleasing show to watch. So that is still true. So I don't know, fans rejoice or whatever. Now some cons. I just had a couple written down. Like, and I already talked about them. You know, felt like watching his fetishes for an hour, the gagging and shit. I was not really a big fan of. Could have done without that. You know, whatever. Every scene with Elordi and Sweeney, I was physically cringing every time they're on scene, and not even just like when they're together. Like one of them or the other, I was like, ugh, what are we? Ugh, skip forward. I don't want to see them anymore. Like, I wish those two didn't come back, and we got more Austin Abrams doing whatever. But unfortunately, that wasn't to be. Yeah, I just when I was watching that car seesaw on the border wall, I was like, what are we doing? Like, what is this show even about anymore? Because it was supposed to be like these high schoolers, and they're all these like things, and they're sure like, how did we get from season 1 to season 3? It's beyond me. And season 2 was like a departure from season 1, and it was like goofier and stuff, but it still felt like it had a lot of the same bones. This one, it feels like it's a whole new skeleton. It's really bizarre. I'm curious to see where it goes. It is like watching a train wreck. Like, you just can't look away. Like, you're like, wow, that car parked on the tracks, and there's a train coming, and I see the train coming. This is crazy. I can't believe this is going to happen. But you just sit there and watch it, because you're like, I like watching a train crash every now and then. Yeah. So who knows? But so we'll have that going forward. Now we're gonna have Euphoria weekly chats, which will be a bit more topical than the Daredevil ones, which will be almost a full week behind every time. So we got Daredevil tonight. We got Euphoria again. Got a lot of stuff going down, and next week we're gonna have a bunch of CinemaCon news. This is just a quick little one. This might even be 56 and a half when we upload it. Maybe not. Well, we'll decide next week on if this is 56 and a half or not, because it, like I said, I really didn't have much, but I just wanted to put something out this week. So we got some quick Euphoria chat in. We got some quick news, and we'll be back next week. Thanks for hanging out this week. Sorry it was so short. I was looking and I was like, I feel like there's like nothing really going on here. Yeah, so next week, come back. We'll chat about, I think we've got actual movies coming out next week here. Like, subscribe, whatever, all that stuff that they say to do. And let me see here. I'm going to pull up real quick what we've got next week. I'm going to try and get to Faces of Death in theaters this week. I wasn't able to make it. So next week we've got Lee Cronin's The Mummy. That's probably going to be the big one that we talk about. So look forward to The Mummy chat next week. Brendan Fraser is not in Lee Cronin's The Mummy, by the way, if you were curious. So yeah, we'll do that next week. Thanks for hanging out. Do all the stuff they say with the liking and commenting and sharing and whatever. Or not. It's really up to you. I'm just kind of here. So, thanks a lot. I'll be back next week with Emmett, so it won't just be me rambling for half an hour or whatever. But all right, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your week, and adios. Go watch Game Night.